War Admiral Keshthik stood on the bridge of his flagship, watching another world burn. The planet below had once been home to millions of blue-skinned aliens who called themselves the Kalari. Now their cities were nothing but ash and smoke. Their ships floated dead in space, torn apart by Zephyrian weapons. "Another easy victory," said Fleet Commander Zexhai as he walked up beside his leader. "They surrendered after only 6 hours of fighting." Keshthik nodded, but did not smile. He had seen this same scene 47 times before. 47 star systems had fallen to his fleet. 47 different species had begged for mercy. None had been given. The Zephyrian Dominion had been conquering the galaxy for 300 years. Their ships were bigger and stronger than anything else in space. Their weapons could destroy entire planets. Their soldiers were bred for war and knew no fear. But Keshthik was growing tired of easy victories. Every species they met was the same. They would fight for a few hours, or maybe a few days. Then they would realize they could not win. They would send messages asking for peace. They would offer to surrender their worlds and become slaves. "Sir," called out Communications Officer Veltar from across the bridge, "the scout ships have found something interesting." Keshthik turned around. His 4 red eyes focused on the young officer. "What have they found?" "A new system, sir. It has a yellow star and several planets. The 3rd planet from the star shows signs of life. Intelligence says there is a young species there that has just learned to travel between stars." "How?" "Young?" asked Zexhai. "Very young, sir. They have been in space for less than 100 years. They have no real military fleet, no weapons that could hurt our ships. The scouts say they should be easy to conquer." Keshthak walked over to the star map that filled one wall of the bridge. He looked at the location the scouts had marked. The system was called Sol by the species that lived there. The 3rd planet was called Earth. "What do we know about these humans?" he asked. Beltar checked his reports. "They are mammals, sir. They have 2 arms and 2 legs. They breathe oxygen and drink water. They have only been united as one species for about 50 years. Before that, they spent most of their time fighting each other." "Fighting each other?" Keshthik found this interesting. Most species stopped fighting among themselves once they reached space. What did they fight about? "Everything, sir. Land, resources, ideas about how to live. The reports say they had thousands of wars. Some wars lasted for years. Some lasted for decades. They have weapons designed to kill their own kind." Zexhai laughed. "A species that fights itself cannot hope to fight us. They will surrender as soon as they see our ships." But Keshthik was not so sure. A species that fought constantly might be different from the others they had conquered. Still, the humans had no real fleet. They had no weapons that could hurt Zephyrian ships. It should be an easy victory. "How many ships do they have?" he asked. 6 warships, sir. All of them are small and carry weak weapons. They also have some civilian ships, but those are not armed for war." Keshthak made his decision. "Send the advance force. 12 heavy cruisers should be enough. If the humans surrender quickly, we will not need to bring the full fleet." "Yes?" "Sir," said Zexhai, "should I go with them?" "Yes. Take command of the advance force. Show these humans what happens to species that resist the Dominion." 2 days later, the Zephyrian advance force dropped out of faster-than-light travel at the edge of the Sol system. 12 massive ships, each one bigger than a city, began moving toward the inner planets. Fleet Commander Zexhai studied the sensor readings from his command ship. The human home world was still far away, but he could already see their primitive technology. Their ships moved slowly and gave off too much heat. Their weapons were basic projectile launchers and simple energy beams. "Sir," said his sensor officer, We are detecting one human ship near the large gas planet they call Jupiter. HFY looked at the display. The human ship was tiny compared to his cruisers. It was only about 300 meters long. The Zephyrian. Ships were over 2 kilometers long. What is it doing there? He asked. It appears to be on patrol, sir. The ship is moving in a slow circle around the planet's moons. HFY smiled. This was perfect. He would capture this single human ship and use it to send a message to Earth. The humans would see how easily their ships could be taken. They would. Surrender without a fight. Open a communication channel to the human ship, he ordered. A few seconds later, a human face appeared on the main screen. The creature had pale skin and dark hair. 2 small eyes looked back at them without fear. This is Captain Jake Murphy of the USS Liberty, the human said. You are in human space. State your business here. HFY was surprised. The human did not seem afraid. Every other species they had met was terrified when they first saw Zephyrian ships. I am Fleet Commander HFY of the Zephyrian Dominion, he replied. Your system now belongs to us. Surrender your ship and prepare to be taken prisoner. The human captain was quiet for a moment. Then he smiled. It was not a friendly smile. Come and take it, Murphy said. Then he cut the communication. HFY stared at the blank screen. No species had ever responded like that before. They always asked for mercy. They always tried to negotiate. They always surrendered. But not these humans. Sir, said his weapons. Officer, should we destroy the ship? No, HFY said slowly. I want to capture it. I want to study these humans. Send the Void Render to take their ship. Use capture beams, not weapons. The Void Render was one of the smallest ships in the Zephyrian fleet, but it was still twice the size of the human vessel. It moved toward the USS Liberty like a giant predator stalking tiny prey. On the bridge of the Liberty, Captain Murphy watched. The alien ship approached. His crew was nervous, but they were ready to fight. Sir, said his tactical officer, Commander Lisa Hayes, their ship is much bigger than ours. Our weapons might not be able to hurt it. Maybe not, Murphy replied. But we are going to try. All hands to battle stations. This is what we trained for. The Liberty was not a new ship. It had been built 10 years ago when humans first started exploring their solar system. It was designed to fight other human ships, not alien vessels. But it was all they had. Murphy knew they could not win. The alien ship was too big and too strong. But he also knew something the aliens did not know. Humans had been fighting losing battles for thousands of years. They had learned that sometimes the best way to win was to make victory cost too much. Commander Hayes, he said, prepare all weapons. Set course for the asteroid belt. If we are going to fight, we fight on our terms. The USS Liberty turned away from the approaching alien ship and headed for the dangerous field of rocks and ice that circled the sun between Mars and Jupiter. The Void Render followed, confident in its power. Neither ship knew that this moment would change the course of galactic history. The first battle between humans and the Zephyrian Dominion was about to begin. The captain of the Void Render was named Krelmoth. He had fought in 30 battles and won them all. He looked at the human ship running away from him and felt nothing but contempt. Cowards, he said to his crew. They run like all the others. We will catch them easily. But Commander Lisa Hayes on the Liberty was not running away in fear. She was leading the alien ship exactly where she wanted it to go. She had studied the sensor readings of the alien vessel and found something interesting. Captain, she said to Murphy, their shields are very strong, but they use a lot of power. If we can make them work harder, we might be able to overload them. Murphy nodded. What do you have in mind? The asteroid belt. Those rocks are full of metal. If we can. Get close enough to the asteroids. Their sensors will have trouble tracking us. Their shields will have to work harder to stop all the debris. And then? Then we hit them with everything we have. The Liberty dove into the asteroid belt with the Void Render close behind. The alien ship was faster, but the Liberty was smaller and could move between the rocks more easily. Krelmuth watched the human ship disappear behind a large asteroid. His sensors were having trouble tracking it through all the metal in the rocks. "Find that ship," he ordered. "I want it captured, not destroyed." But finding the Liberty was harder than he expected. The small human ship seemed to vanish and reappear, like a ghost. One moment it was behind an asteroid to the left. The next moment it was attacking from the right. The Liberty's weapons were weak compared to Zephyrian shields. The laser cannons and missile launchers did little damage. But Hayes had a plan. She was not trying to destroy the alien ship. She was trying to make it angry. "Keep hitting their shields," she told her weapons officer. "Make them chase us. Make them work." The Void Render followed the Liberty deeper into the asteroid belt. Krelmuth was getting frustrated. His powerful ship kept hitting asteroids as it tried to chase the smaller vessel. The shields were working constantly, burning power to push. Away the rocks. "Why are they not surrendering?" asked his second-in-command. "I do not know," Krelmuth replied. "But it does not matter. We will catch them." That was when the Liberty did something no alien species had ever done before. It turned around and charged straight at the Void Render. "They are attacking us?" Krelmuth could not believe it. "Their ship is tiny. Their weapons are weak." "Are they insane?" On the Liberty, Murphy smiled grimly. "Chief Carter, is the reactor ready?" Chief Engineer Ben Carter checked his instruments. "Yes, sir. I have rerouted all power to the forward weapons. We will have 30 seconds of full power before the system overloads." 30 seconds, Murphy said. "That is all we need." The Liberty came at the Void Render like a bullet fired from a gun. But Hayes was not aiming for the alien ship itself. She was aiming for the large asteroid right behind it. "Fire all weapons!" Murphy shouted the Liberty's laser cannons and missile launchers. All fired at once. The beams and explosions hit the asteroid behind the Void Render. The rock was full of metal and ice. When the weapons hit it, the asteroid exploded. Thousands of pieces of rock and metal flew toward the alien ship. The Void Render's shields tried to stop them all, but there were too many. The shield generators began to overload. "Shields failing," shouted the alien weapons officer. Krelmuth watched in horror as pieces of the asteroid punched through his weakened shields. The metal fragments hit the hull of his ship like bullets. Systems began to fail throughout the vessel, but the Liberty was not done. As the alien ship struggled with the debris, Murphy gave another order. Ramming speed. The Liberty accelerated toward the damaged alien ship. At the last second, Hayes fired all remaining weapons directly at the same spot on the Void Renders. Hull. The concentrated fire punched a hole through the armor. The Liberty shot through the hole and out the other side of the alien ship. The Void Render shuddered and began to list to one side. Smoke and atmosphere poured out of the wound in its hull. "Impossible," Krelmuth whispered. "How did they do that?" On the Liberty, alarms were ringing. The ship had been damaged in the attack. Half the crew was injured. But they were still alive, and the alien ship was hurt. "Status report," Murphy called out. "We have hull breaches on 3 decks, reported Carter. "Life support is failing. We need to get to a repair station soon." "What about the alien ship?" Hayes checked her sensors. "They are retreating, Captain." "We hurt them badly." Murphy could not believe it. They had actually damaged an alien ship. A ship that was 10 times bigger than theirs. A ship that belonged to a species that had conquered the galaxy. "Send a message to Earth," he ordered. Tell them what we learned. Tell them how to hurt these aliens. Communications Officer Amy Foster tried to send the message, but the Liberty's communication system was damaged. I can only send short bursts, sir. The signal is too weak to reach Earth from here. Then we get closer, Murphy said. We need to warn them. But before the Liberty could move, more alien ships appeared on the sensors. 3 heavy cruisers were coming toward them. Fleet Commander HFY had decided to send more ships. Captain, Hayes said quietly, we cannot fight 3 ships. We barely survived one. Murphy looked at the approaching alien vessels. Each one was bigger than the Void Render. Each one had stronger shields and more powerful weapons. Then we do not fight them, he said. We hide. The Liberty limped away from the asteroid belt and disappeared into the shadow of Jupiter. The great gas planet was perfect for hiding. Its radiation and magnetic field would make it hard for the aliens to find them. But Murphy knew they could not hide forever. The aliens would keep looking until they found the Liberty. And when they did, his ship and crew would die, unless he could find a way to get a message to Earth first. On the bridge of his flagship, HFY stared at the damaged Void Render. The alien ship was being towed back to the fleet by 2 other cruisers. Half of its crew was dead. Its weapons were destroyed. Its shields were gone. How? He asked Krelmoth, who was speaking to him through a communication link. How did such a small ship do so much damage? They did not fight like the others, Krelmoth replied. His voice was weak from his injuries. They used the environment. As a weapon, they sacrificed their own ship to hurt ours. They fought like ... like they had nothing to lose. HFY thought about this. Every other species they had conquered fought to protect their ships and their lives. They tried to minimize their losses. But these humans had been willing to destroy themselves just to hurt their enemies. Find that ship, he ordered his other captains. I want it destroyed. And send a message to War Admiral Kesh-Thak. Tell him, we need more ships. More ships? Asked one of his officers. For one small human vessel? Yes, HFY said grimly. I think we are going to need them. In the shadow of Jupiter, the Liberty drifted silently through space. The crew worked desperately to repair their damaged ship. They knew the aliens were looking for them. They knew they could not hide much longer, but they had done something important. They had shown that the aliens could be hurt. They had proven that the Zephyrian Dominion was not invincible. How long until we can send a message to Earth? Murphy asked Foster. I need at least 6 more hours to repair the communications array, she replied. We may not have 6 hours, Hayes said. The aliens are getting closer. Their search pattern is tightening. Murphy made a decision. Then we lead them away from Earth. We make them chase us. We buy as much time as we can. Sir, Carter said, the ship cannot take much more damage. If we fight again, we will probably die. Murphy looked at his crew. They were tired and scared, but they were ready to fight. They understood what was at stake. Then we make our deaths count, he said. We show these aliens that humans do not surrender. We show them that we will fight until the very end. The Liberty began to move again, leaving the safety of Jupiter's shadow. The alien ships immediately detected them and began to give chase. First battle between humans and the Zephyrian Dominion was over. The Liberty had won, but barely. Now the real test would begin. The aliens were angry. They were sending more ships, and they would not underestimate the humans again. But Captain Murphy and his crew were ready. They had learned something important. In their first battle, the aliens were not gods. They were not invincible. They could be beaten. Admiral Pete Williams was drinking his morning coffee when the emergency alert came through. The message was from the USS Liberty, but it was broken and hard to understand. The signal was weak and full of static, Alien ships. System invaded. Need help, ... They can be hurt. Williams nearly dropped his coffee cup. He had been expecting this day for years. Earth's military leaders had always known that contact with alien species was possible, but they had hoped it would be peaceful. Get me General Kate Morrison, he ordered his aide, and contact Dr. Sam Rodriguez at the research facility. Tell them we have a situation. Within an hour, Earth's top military and scientific leaders were gathered in the command center deep beneath the Pentagon. The room was filled with screens showing star charts and sensor readings. What do we know? Asked General Morrison as she entered the room. Not much, Williams replied. The Liberty is somewhere in the outer system. They have encountered hostile alien forces. Captain Murphy managed to send a few short messages before we lost contact. Dr. Rodriguez, a tall woman with gray hair, studied the sensor data. The energy readings are incredible. These alien ships are much more advanced than anything we have. How many ships are we talking about? Morrison asked. At least 12. Maybe more. Each one is bigger than our largest battleship. Morrison sat down heavily in her chair. Earth had 6 warships. The Liberty was one of them. That left only 5 ships to defend the entire planet. What are our options? She asked. Williams pulled up a display showing Earth's military assets. We have the USS Defiance, the USS Courage, the USS Victory, the USS Honor, and the USS Guardian. We also have about 30 civilian ships that could be armed for combat. Civilian ships? Morrison looked skeptical. Cargo haulers and passenger transports? It is all we have, Williams said grimly. Dr. Rodriguez, what can you tell us about these aliens? Rodriguez pulled up her analysis of the Liberty's sensor data. They use energy shields to protect their ships. Their weapons are based on plasma technology. They are clearly more advanced than us, but the Liberty managed to damage one of their vessels. How? By using tactics they did not expect. Captain Murphy used an asteroid as a weapon. He was willing to sacrifice his ship to hurt theirs. The aliens seem to rely on their superior technology. They may not be prepared for desperate tactics. Morrison stood up and began pacing. We need to warn the civilian population. We need to prepare for invasion. No, Williams said firmly. If we announce an alien invasion, we will have panic. Millions of people will try to flee the cities. The roads will be blocked. Our defenses will be disrupted. Then what do you suggest? We prepare quietly. We arm every ship we can find. We set up defenses around Earth. And we pray that the Liberty can buy us enough time. While Earth's leaders planned their defense, the Liberty continued its desperate game of hide and seek with the alien fleet. Captain Murphy had managed to repair his communication system enough to send short messages to Earth, but the aliens were getting closer. Captain, reported Hayes, we have 3 alien cruisers closing on our position. They will reach us in 2 hours. Murphy nodded. The Liberty was hiding in the rings of Saturn, using the ice and rock to mask their heat signature. But the aliens were using new search patterns. They were learning. Chief Carter, what is our status? We have weapons and engines, Carter replied. But the hull is still badly damaged. We cannot take another hit like the last one. Then we do not get hit, Murphy said. Amy, have you been able to contact Earth? Communications Officer Foster shook her head. I have been trying, sir. But the aliens are jamming our signals. I can only send short bursts when they are not looking. Murphy made a decision. Send this message. Alien fleet has 47 ships. They use energy shields. Frequency modulation can disrupt shields. They are not invincible. Earth must prepare for invasion. Sir, Foster said, that message will take 3 minutes to transmit. The aliens will detect us. Then we better be ready to run. The Liberty began transmitting its vital message to Earth. The information about shield frequencies and alien tactics could save the planet. But as soon as the transmission began, the alien ships detected it. "Contact!" Hayes shouted. "3 cruisers are moving toward us at high speed." "Message sent," Foster reported. "Earth should receive it in 4 hours." "Good," Murphy said. "Now let us see how long we can keep these aliens busy." The Liberty burst out of Saturn's rings and headed for the outer system. The alien ships followed, their weapons firing, but Murphy was not trying to fight them. He was trying to lead them away from Earth. On Earth. The message from the Liberty was received by a monitoring station in Australia. The technician who decoded it immediately sent it to Admiral Williams. 47 ships, Williams said as he read the message. "We are outnumbered 8-1. "What about this information on shield frequencies?" asked Dr. Rodriguez. "It might help, but we need time to study it. Time to modify our weapons." Williams looked at the star chart. "The Liberty is buying us that time with their lives." General Morrison entered the command center with Colonel Ryan Davis, Earth's top fighter. "Pilot, I have been talking to the civilian transport companies," she said. "They are willing to let us arm their ships." "How many?" 32 cargo ships, 8 passenger transports, and 12 mining vessels. That gives us 57 ships total. Williams shook his head. "Most of those are not built for combat. They will be slaughtered." "Maybe," Morrison said, "but they are volunteers. Every captain knows this is a suicide mission. They want to fight anyway." Dr. Rodriguez spoke up. "I have been studying the Liberty's data. I think I can modify our weapons to disrupt alien shields, but I need 3 days." "We may not have 3 days," Williams said. "The aliens could be here tomorrow." "Then we fight with what we have," Morrison said grimly. Colonel Davis stepped forward. "Sir, I have been training civilian pilots in combat maneuvers. They are not soldiers, but they are brave. They want to defend their world." Williams looked around the room at Earth's leaders. They were preparing for a battle they could not win, but they were going to fight anyway. "All right," he said. "We make our stand here. We show these aliens that humans do not surrender." In the outer system, the Liberty was running out of room to run. The alien ships were faster, and their weapons had longer range. Captain Murphy knew his ship could not escape. Captain Hayes said quietly, "We could try to surrender. Maybe they would spare the crew." Murphy looked at her with surprise. "Commander, have you ever studied human history?" "Yes, sir." "Then you know the humans have never been good at surrendering. We fight until the end. We make the enemy pay for every inch of ground." Hayes smiled. "I was hoping you would say that, sir." "All hands," Murphy announced over the ship's communication system. "This is the captain. We are about to engage 3 alien cruisers. We cannot win this battle, but we can make sure they remember it. We can show them that humans do not give up." The Liberty turned to face the approaching alien ships. The small human vessel was badly damaged and outnumbered 3-1, but its crew was ready to fight. "For Earth," Murphy said quietly. "For Earth," his crew replied. The final battle of the USS Liberty was about to begin. Captain Murphy knew they would not survive, but he also knew their sacrifice would not be in vain. Earth was awake now. Earth was preparing. And when the alien fleet arrived, they would find that humans were not like the other species they had conquered. They would find that humans were willing to die for their freedom. The Liberty charged toward the alien ships, its weapons blazing. The small human vessel was about to make history. It was about to show the galaxy that humanity would never surrender. War Admiral Keshthik received the report from Fleet Commander Zex High with growing concern. One human ship had damaged a Zephyrian cruiser. One human ship was leaving his entire advance force on a chase through the outer system. How is this possible? He asked his staff officers. The humans fight differently than other species, reported Intelligence Officer Morgith. They use suicide attacks. They sacrifice their own ships to hurt ours. They do not follow the normal rules of war. Keshdek studied the tactical reports. In 300 years of conquest, no species had ever fought like this. Most aliens tried to preserve their forces. They fought defensive battles. They looked for ways to minimize their losses. But these humans seemed to welcome death if it meant hurting their enemies. Send the full fleet, he ordered, all 47 ships. I want this system conquered quickly. Sir, said Morgith, is that necessary? It is only one star system with a primitive species. Keshdek looked at the image of Earth on his screen. The blue planet looked peaceful and harmless. But he had learned not to underestimate humans. Yes, he said. I think it is very necessary. Captain Murphy knew these were his last moments. The Liberty was surrounded by 3 alien cruisers, each one firing everything it had. The small human ship shook under the impact of plasma bolts and energy beams. Hull breach on Deck 4. Shouted. Chief Carter, we are losing atmosphere. Weapons are offline, reported the weapons officer. We have no power to the guns. Murphy looked at his crew. Only 8 people were still alive on the bridge. Half of them were wounded. The ship was dying around them. Amy, he called to Foster, can you send one more message to Earth? Yes, sir. Short range only. Tell them we are sorry. We could not do more. Tell them to fight with everything they have. Foster nodded and began typing the message. But before she could send it, something appeared on the sensors that made her gasp. Captain, ships approaching from Earth. Murphy turned to look at the display. Coming toward them at full speed was every ship Earth could find. The 5 remaining warships led the charge, followed by dozens of civilian vessels. It is the cavalry, Murphy whispered. Admiral Williams stood on the bridge of the USS Defiance, watching the battle ahead. The Liberty was almost dead, surrounded by alien ships, but it was still fighting. All ships, he broadcast on the fleet frequency. This is Admiral Williams. We are going to save our people. We are going to show these aliens what happens when they threaten Earth. The Earth fleet spread out into attack formation. The 5 warships took the lead, their weapons already charging. Behind them came the civilian ships, cargo haulers and passenger transports that had been fitted with whatever weapons the engineers could find. Dr. Rodriguez had worked for 3 days straight to modify Earth's weapons. The new frequency modulators were untested, but they were the only hope of penetrating alien shields. Target the lead cruiser, Williams ordered. All ships concentrate fire on the same target. The USS Defiance opened fire first. It's modified. All ASER cannons hit the alien ship's shields with a brilliant flash. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the shields began to flicker. It is working, shouted the weapons officer. The shields are destabilizing. The other Earth ships joined the attack. The USS Courage and USS Victory added their firepower. The civilian ships, with their improvised weapons, fired everything they had. Fleet Commander Zex High watched in shock as his ship's shields began to fail. The human weapons were different now. They were using some kind of frequency modulation that disrupted Zephyrian energy fields. How do they know our shield frequency? He demanded. Unknown, sir, but our shields are down to 60%. Return fire. Destroy them all. The alien ships began shooting back. Their plasma weapons were more powerful than anything Earth had. The civilian ship Carolina Bell exploded in a ball of fire. The cargo hauler Iron Mountain was cut in half by an energy beam. But the Earth ships kept coming. When the freighter Pacific Star was badly damaged, its captain did something the aliens had never seen before. He aimed his ship at the nearest alien cruiser and activated his engines at full power. "This is Captain Ross of the Pacific Star," he broadcast. "See you in hell, you alien bastards." The cargo ship smashed into the alien cruiser at full speed. The impact destroyed both vessels in a massive explosion. The other alien ships were damaged by the blast. Ramming attack. Zex-High could not believe it. They are using their own ships as weapons. More Earth ships followed the Pacific Stars. Example: the passenger transport New York Dream rammed another alien cruiser. The mining ship Deep Digger crashed into a third alien vessel, but the aliens were not helpless. Their remaining ships kept firing. The USS Guardian was destroyed by a plasma bolt. The USS Honor was crippled and began to drift. Admiral Williams watched his fleet being torn apart, but he did not order a retreat. The Earth ships had one advantage the aliens did not expect. They were not afraid to die. "All ships," he broadcast, "get close to the aliens. Use everything you have. Make them pay for every ship they destroy." The battle became a close-range brawl. Earth ships and alien vessels were mixed together, firing at point-blank range. The space around Jupiter was filled with explosions and debris on the dying Liberty. Captain Murphy watched the battle with pride. His crew was almost all dead, but Earth had come to help. The planet was fighting back. "Captain," Foster said weakly, "I can send a message to the other ships." "Do it," Murphy said. "Tell them where the alien weak points are. Tell them everything we learned." Foster sent the tactical data to the Earth fleet. The information about alien shield frequencies and vulnerable areas was exactly what the other ships needed. The USS Defiance used the new data to target the alien flagship. Admiral Williams concentrated all his firepower on the ship's shield generators. The alien shields collapsed, and the Earth weapons began tearing through the hull. "Direct hit," shouted the weapons officer. "We are hurting them." But the victory was short-lived. More alien ships were arriving. The main Zephyrian fleet was coming to help their advance force. "Admiral," reported the sensor officer, 40 more alien ships are entering the system." Williams felt his heart sink. The Earth fleet had been lucky to fight 3 alien cruisers. Now they faced an entire armada. "All ships," he broadcast. "We are about to be outnumbered 10-1. Anyone who wants to retreat can do so now." The response came immediately from every ship in the fleet. "Defiance, this is the cargo ship Texas." "Ranger, we are not going anywhere." "Admiral, this is the USS Courage. We fight until the end." "Defiance, this is the mining ship Asteroid Hunter. Let us show these aliens what humans are made of." Williams smiled grimly. The Earth fleet was about to be destroyed, but they would not surrender. They would fight until the last ship was gone. "Then we make our stand here," he said. "For Earth, for humanity, for the liberty and all the brave souls who died fighting." The main Zephyrian fleet arrived like a swarm of angry insects. 47 ships, each one a fortress of metal and energy. War Admiral Keshthak himself led the attack. "Destroy them all," he ordered. No prisoners, no mercy. The battle that followed was the most intense in human history. The Earth fleet, outnumbered and outgunned, fought with desperate courage. Every ship fought until it was destroyed. Every crew member fought until they died. The civilian ships were the first to go. They were not built for war and could not survive the alien weapons. But they took some aliens with them. The cargo ship Desert Wind rammed an alien cruiser. The passenger transport Ocean Breeze used its entire fuel supply to create a massive explosion. The military ships lasted longer, but they too began to fall. The USS Victory was destroyed by plasma fire. The USS Courage was cut apart by energy beams. But the Earth fleet was not dying in vain. Every ship that died took alien vessels with it. The Ephorian fleet was taking heavy casualties. "Sir," reported Keshthek's tactical officer, "we have lost 12 ships. The humans are fighting like demons." Keshthek could not understand it. In 300 years of conquest, no species had ever inflicted such losses on his fleet. The humans were supposed to be primitive. They were supposed to surrender. Instead, they were destroying his ships with tactics he had never seen. They used their own vessels as weapons. They fought until every last crew member was dead. "How many human ships remain?" he asked. 15. "Sir, but they are all damaged." Admiral Williams was down to his last few ships. The USS Defiance was badly hurt, with fires burning on 3 decks. Most of his fleet was gone, but they had proved something important. Humans could fight aliens and win. "All remaining ships," he broadcast, "concentrate on the alien flagship. If we can kill their leader, maybe the others will retreat." The last Earth ships formed up around the Defiance and charged toward Keshthek's massive command vessel. It was a desperate attack, but it was all they had left. The USS Honor, crippled but still fighting, rammed the alien flagship's escort cruiser. The mining ship Last Chance crashed into another alien vessel. One by one, the Earth ships died, but they were getting closer to the alien flagship. "Admiral," called his weapons officer, "we are in range of the alien command ship." "Fire everything," Williams ordered. "Give them everything we have." The USS Defiance unleashed every weapon it possessed at the alien flagship. The modified laser cannons, the missile launchers, even the point defense guns. All of them fired. At once, the alien ship's shields held for a moment, then began to fail. The human weapons punched through and struck the hull. Explosions rippled across the massive vessel. "We hurt them!" Someone shouted "Dot," but the victory was brief. The alien flagship returned fire with weapons that could destroy planets. The USS Defiance shook under the impact. "Hull breach on all decks," reported the damage control officer. "We are breaking apart." Williams knew his ship was dying. His fleet was gone. The battle was lost. But they had done something incredible. They had fought the mighty Zephyrian Dominion and made them bleed. "Abandon ship," he ordered. "All hands to the escape pods." "Sir," said his first officer, "what about you?" Williams looked at the alien flagship on his screen. It was damaged, but still fighting. "Someone needs to make sure this ship hits its target." The bridge crew began to evacuate, but Williams stayed at his post. He aimed the dying Defiance at the alien flagship and locked the controls. "This is Admiral Pete Williams of the Earth Defense Force," he broadcast on all frequencies. "We came to save the Liberty. We came to Deef." Supreme War Admiral Thanadar read the report from Keshthek 3 times before he believed it. 20 Zephyrian ships destroyed by primitive humans. An entire invasion fleet forced to retreat. "This is impossible," he said to his council of war leaders. "No species has ever defeated our forces like this." "The humans fight differently than others," said War Admiral Keshthek, who had traveled to the Dominion home fleet to give his report in person. "They do not fear death. They use their own ships as weapons. They sacrifice everything to hurt their enemies." Thanadar had been the architect of the Zephyrian conquest campaign. For 300 years, his strategies had never failed. His fleets had conquered 47 star systems without a single major defeat. But now a species that had barely learned to travel between stars had humiliated his forces. "How many ships do the humans have now?" he asked. "Intelligence reports estimate over 500 vessels," replied Intelligence Chief Morgeth. "Most are converted civilian ships, but they are all armed. And based on their previous behavior, they will all fight to the death. Thanadar stood up and walked to the massive star chart that covered one wall of his command chamber. The human system was marked with a red dot. Such a small target, but it had become the biggest threat to Zephyrian expansion. "We cannot allow this defeat to stand," he said. "If other species learn the humans have beaten us, they will rebel. Our entire empire could collapse. What do you propose?" Asked Keshthak. "We destroy them completely. We take the entire core battle fleet to their system. 300 ships. We turn their planet into ash and make sure no human survives to tell others what happened." The council was silent. The core battle fleet had never been used against a single system before. It was the ultimate weapon of the Dominion, reserved for the most dangerous enemies. "Sir," said Fleet Admiral Velkorath, 300 ships seems excessive for one primitive planet. Does it? Thanadar turned to face his officers. "They destroyed 20 of our ships with inferior technology. Imagine what they could do if we give them time to improve their weapons. Imagine what they could do if other species joined them." The council understood. The humans were not just another conquest. They were a threat to everything the Dominion had built. "Prepare the core fleet," Thanadar ordered. "We leave in 7 days." On Earth, the months following the battle had been the busiest in human history. Every shipyard was working day and night to build new vessels. Every factory was producing weapons and armor. The entire planet had become a military base. General Kate Morrison, now promoted to Supreme Commander of Earth Defense, stood in the new command center built deep under the Rocky Mountains. The room was filled with screens showing ship construction, weapon testing, and defensive preparations. "Status report," she said to Colonel Ryan Davis, who had become her chief of staff. "We now have 637 ships ready for combat," Davis reported. "That includes 50 new military vessels built from alien technology we recovered from the battle." Dr. Sam Rodriguez entered the command center carrying a tablet full of data. "The new weapons are ready for testing," she said. "We have improved the frequency modulators based on the alien shield technology we captured." "How much better are they?" Morrison asked. 50% more effective at disrupting Zephyrian shields. We also developed new armor that can absorb some of their plasma weapons." Morrison nodded. The humans had learned much from their first battle with the aliens. But she knew it would not be enough. "What about our allies?" she asked. Davis pulled up a star chart. "We have been in contact with 12 species that were conquered by the Zephyrians. 3 of them are willing to help us if we can prove we can win. 3 out of 12? The others are too afraid. The Zephyrians have ruled them for decades. They do not believe anyone can defeat the Dominion." Morrison understood their fear. The Zephyrian Dominion controlled most of the galaxy. They had never been truly defeated. Most species had given up hope of freedom long ago. "We will have to prove it to them," she said. "We will have to show them that the Dominion can be beaten." In space around Earth, the human fleet was different than it had been 6 months ago. The new ships were bigger and more heavily armed. They carried weapons designed specifically to fight Zephyrian vessels. Admiral Lisa Hayes commanded the defense fleet from the bridge of the new flagship, the USS Vengeance. She had survived the destruction of the Liberty and been promoted to lead Earth's military forces in space. "Admiral," reported her sensor officer, "long-range scanners are detecting movement in the outer system." Hayes felt her stomach tighten. "How many ships?" "Too many to count, ma'am." "At least 200. Maybe 300. Hayes closed her eyes for a moment. The Zephyrians were coming back with their entire fleet. "Every ship they had, signal all vessels," she ordered. "Condition red. This is not a drill. All ships to battle stations." Across the solar system, human ships began moving toward Earth. The cargo haulers and converted civilian vessels took positions behind the military ships. Everyone knew this would be the final battle. Supreme War Admiral Fanadar stood on the bridge of his flagship, the destroyer of worlds, as the Zephyrian core fleet entered the Sol system. 300 ships, the most powerful vessels in the galaxy, had come to end the human threat forever. "Sir," reported his sensor officer, "we are detecting over 600 human ships around their planet." Thanadar was impressed despite himself. The humans had built an impressive fleet in just a few months, but numbers would not save them. "Open a communication channel to the human planet," he ordered. On the screen appeared a human female in a military uniform. Her face was hard and determined. "I am Admiral Lisa Hayes of the Earth Defense Force," she said. "You are not welcome in our system." "I am Supreme War Admiral Fanadar of the Zephyrian Dominion," he replied. "You have embarrassed our forces and killed our warriors. For this, your species will be exterminated." Hayes smiled. It was not a friendly smile. "You are welcome to try, but you should know that we have been preparing for you. Your preparations will not save you. We have brought 300 ships. Each one is more powerful than anything you possess." "Maybe," Hayes said, "but we have something you do not have." "And what is that?" "We have nothing left to lose." The communication ended. Thanadar stared at the blank screen. The human admiral had reminded him of something War Admiral Keshthak had said. These humans fought like they had nothing to lose because they believed their cause was worth dying for. "All ships," he broadcast to his fleet, "attack formation. Destroy every human vessel. Leave nothing alive." The largest space battle in galactic history was about to begin. The human fleet moved to meet the alien armada. Admiral Hayes knew her ships were outnumbered and outgunned, but she had advantages the aliens did not expect. "All ships," she broadcast, "use pattern Delta. Hit them fast, hit them hard, and make them pay for every ship they destroy." The human fleet split into multiple groups and attacked the alien formation from different directions. They used the same tactics that had worked before: ramming attacks, suicide runs, and coordinated strikes on single targets. But this time, they had better weapons and more experience. The USS Vengeance led the attack on the alien flagship. Its new plasma cannons, designed from captured alien technology, punched through Zephyrian shields like they were made of paper. "Direct hit on the alien command ship," shouted the weapons officer. "Keep firing," Hayes ordered. "Take down their leader." Around the battle zone, human and alien ships were locked in deadly combat. The space around Earth was filled with explosions and debris. Ships on both sides were dying, but the humans were fighting with desperate courage. The converted cargo ship Texas Ranger rammed an alien cruiser, destroying both vessels. The passenger transport Freedom's Call exploded next to another alien ship, taking it down as well, but the aliens were fighting back with devastating effect. Their plasma weapons were destroying human ships faster than they could be replaced. "Admiral," reported the tactical officer, "we have lost 150 ships. The aliens have lost 60. Hayes gritted her teeth. They were losing too many ships too quickly. At this rate, the human fleet would be destroyed before they could seriously damage the alien armada. That was when help arrived from an unexpected source. "Admiral Hayes," came a voice over the communication system. "This is Captain Marseeth of the Kalari Liberation Fleet. We are here to help." On the sensors, new ships were appearing. Not many, but enough to matter. Ships from 3 different alien species that had been conquered by the Zephyrians. They had come to help humanity fight for freedom. "All ships, Hayes. Broadcast on the joint frequency. Coordinate your attacks. Together we can beat them." The battle became even more intense as the Liberation Fleet joined the fight. The Kalari ships used hit-and-run tactics. The Vorthan vessels specialized in disabling alien weapons. The Nexari ships were small but fast, perfect for ramming attacks. Supreme War Admiral Thanadar watched his fleet taking heavy casualties and could not understand how this was happening. His ships were superior. His weapons were more powerful. But the enemy was fighting with a ferocity he had never encountered. "Sir," reported his tactical officer, "we have lost 80 ships. The enemy has lost 200, but they keep fighting." "How many enemy ships?"